Hey y'all, so I am not normally live on Mondays, but I just came off an amazing live and I thought that, man, I got so much energy on this topic, which is something where I've noticed that everybody that's jumping on my live, sending me inbox messages, or commenting and watching most of my videos are so focused on starting their careers in HR. And I think that that's a great field of work. And I've been doing it for 10 years and I absolutely love it. But everybody is always focused on how hard it is to get into HR. It's hard. It's hard, but it's not unreal. Like you can totally do it. The biggest thing that you want to make sure is that you're not getting into HR just because you think it's a great field to be in. I'll be in charge. I'll be the person to know this. I'll know that. You want to jump into whatever career field because you like it. Like make sure that there's your passion in it. Because for me, working in HR, I don't feel any day like I'm going to work. And I've worked for quite a few companies in the last 10 years. I want to say I've worked for 5 different companies, and I've also consulted for several different companies at one time as well. And I will tell you that I absolutely loved my career in HR. The first thing that I started doing was I found out that that was my passion. I thought that I wanted to be a nurse. That didn't work out. I hated it. Went to grad school, decided to just go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to jump on and learn how to do this whole HR course because I needed 3 additional courses. And so when I jumped on into HR, I found out that I loved it. It became natural to me. It became second nature. I didn't feel like I was scrambling for answers. I didn't feel like it was an unreal feel. I didn't think that it was something that I wouldn't enjoy. Every class that I took, I enjoyed it. Every conversation I had, I enjoyed it. Every paper that I wrote, I enjoyed it. Every presentation that I did, I enjoyed it. And so I knew I was going to just enjoy this career. And when I first jumped into it, my very first job, I had some moments where I was like, what the hell did I jump into? Because I didn't realize that in HR comes terminations. Another thing I didn't realize is that many different hiring managers, supervisors, whatever. Sorry, y'all, my dog. Riley, stop. Um, but many hiring managers, they want to manage the folks. They want to tell them what to do. But when they're not doing what they want them to do, they want to fire them. And they come to HR to say, hey, fire them. When you hire them, you fire them. If you want me to navigate you through this termination, if you want me to guide you, if you want me to be a neutral person in the audience or in the room with you, whatever it is, I can be an asset to you through this termination, but that's not my job. So I realized that, Lord, this is going to be a difficult part for me. Another thing I realized is that when I was in school, I learned, okay, how to write a job description or the different laws or whatever. But I really didn't learn the everyday job because I was working on a master's degree, not a bachelor's degree. I'm assuming that's the difference. There was just so much that I learned when I actually started working in HR. And I learned that, okay, there's going to be a lot that I got to kind of learn myself. So many things like benefits. Okay, we had a 1-800 number. I can go ahead and tell employees if they're having a benefits issue, call this 1-800 number. Why stop doing that? I call the 1-800 number for them and I let them stand right there. I learned benefits just like that. We would have like benefits negotiation meetings, insurance company, and they all wanted to, talk about, well, what does the new plan look like for benefits for the upcoming year? And a lot of it was over my head. I didn't realize how much claims data plays such a big play and how much people were charged for their insurance rates or the premiums that they were charged or how much the company paid for benefits, like what population, not specifically for employees. They won't show that to HR professionals. But the insurance company can tell you what percentage of your employees are on this type of medication, what percentage of your employees are diabetic, what percentage of your employees have a chronic illness, what percentage of your employees are running into the ER on a regular basis. And I learned that getting that information back, our companies, because I've done this with several companies, was able to come up with a plan to coach our folks into an avenue to say, okay, now that we're coaching our folks, I want you to decrease our costs next year. And there was just so much I learned on the spot. And while I was learning that, I just totally networked my ass off. Every conference I was asked to go to, every meeting I was invited to, every meeting I wasn't invited into, I attended. I wrote notes. I asked questions because I wanted to learn for myself. And as people saw me wanting to learn, people saw my passion, people saw my eagerness to just absorb everything HR. So many people gave me opportunities. I've had multiple times where I went into different events or different meetings, different conferences, and got offered jobs, like just like that. Or they'll call me back like a month later and be like, so and so just left. How do you feel about coming on? So starting your career in HR is almost like anywhere else, except it's not going to be like how you may have 20 people on this assembly line or 200 people on this assembly line. You're not going to have as many HR people. So that's one reason why it's difficult to get into HR, because there's not a ton of positions. Another thing is that so many people that hire HR professionals don't work in HR themselves. So as a result, they don't know what type of people to look for. So they can't see your transferable skills. So you're going to have to totally market yourself. You got to be your own champion. Like, you got to be your own champion. You got to say, I can do this. I can do that. I learned this. I got this resource. You're going to have to get a bank of people to have your back so you can call them when you don't know what you're doing. Get comfortable with your insurance carriers. Get comfortable with your brokers. Get comfortable with your managers so you can continue to learn and people can feel comfortable with you. So I want to say hello to Everyday Life Taboo. Hello, hello, hello. Totally not my night to be live, but I definitely wanted to just give y'all some insight into kind of how you can start your career in HR. I know a lot of folks are so focused on, well, I'm gonna get this certification, well, I'm gonna get this master's degree. It's not totally necessary. The certification, I would think, totally is. And you can only get that after you work in HR for a period of time. So you can't just jump in and be like, okay, tomorrow I want to be HR professional, and the day after that, I want to get my certification. Most certifications in HR, or the bigger ones, they come with certain number of years of experience, or a higher level of education. Don't say, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get my master's degree so I can become certified, because I was that person. Not that that's what I wanted to do, but that's what I did. So I went out, got a master's degree, thought, okay, I can do this exam, and took it the first time, failed. I didn't fail miserably because I studied, but I failed. I thought, okay, I'm gonna take like a 6-month break, come back, take my exam again. I ended up taking maybe a 2-year break, I think 2 or 3 years of a break, and just learned. And I stepped out of the industry that I knew. So at the time, I only had local government experience. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go in the private sector. And I worked in a couple organizations in the private sector. And that made me feel so much more comfortable with taking an exam. And it helped me to note the information. Like, when you can associate it, it's so much easier. Or when you're networking with people, you're reading different articles that may come from like HR.com or SHRM, or different HRS carriers like Paycom, Paylocity, Paychecks, then I was able to kind of tie all of that stuff together. So it helped me a lot. Everyday Life Taboo, are you starting a career in HR? HR? Just type in the chat and let me know. For all of you who are on here, I want y'all to know that, again, yeah, I didn't plan to be live today. That's not my plan. I just got off a fired up live that was so amazing. The presenter was also someone who is heavily working in the HR space, and she's only 24 years old and she's blowing it up. She's already been on Wall Street Journal. She's already been recognized by LinkedIn, and her channel is growing so much. So I always repost her stuff. If you're not following me on IG, then definitely look me up. My IG is Hey with 3 Ys HR, just like my YouTube channel. And y'all, please, like, look at my stories if you don't look at nothing else. I try to keep my stories updated, but I can work on my posts a little bit better. So, okay, here in my state and city, HR is challenging to come by. There is a listing that asks for 7 years experience, BA and master's degree and certification, and that's Everyday Life Taboo. I'm currently finishing up my BA in business administration with a concentration in HR. So I have an MBA with, I started as a concentration in HR, but I ended up making it a total like double degree because it was just, I was only like 2 or 3 classes away. If you don't mind me asking, what city and state are you in? And so before you even tell me that, I'm going to just go ahead and start telling you that now COVID has made it so great that there are so many HR jobs online. I know people be like, I want to help people. I want to see people every day. Yeah. But you're just getting started right now. You're just trying to get the experience. The best way to start is like an HR assistant, HR coordinator position, or a talent acquisition or recruiting position. Those are like the great ways to start. So definitely try that. Alrighty, getting my foot into my company's HR team as a recruiter, currently getting my APHR. Awesome. So have you already gotten the job, Sarah? as the recruiter, or you're working on getting a job as the recruiter. You're getting your foot into that space. That should be great. I would tell you that if you're getting your foot into that space and you're not there yet, one way to stand out is when they go into like recruiting fairs, like job fairs, and like they're becoming big again. Like I just got an invitation yesterday that I read this morning for a career fair that's in person, and a lot of them are online. And there's a lot of setup for HR professionals behind the scenes for them. Tell them you'll help. Tell them you'll help. Like if you want to see what it's like to be a recruiter, tell them you help, get there and watch them work. So I would like setting up for recruiting fairs. If you're a good company, you're really trying to attract people, is like a task. When I attended a ton of career fairs with my last organization as a journalist, I was also like the recruiter. I mean, first of all, I would be ordering stuff like weeks ahead, months ahead. Once I get all this stuff ordered in, then I would try to put it all in order in some type of like containers. I had a carry-on luggage bag, a huge one at that. I had a flag I needed to carry. I had table covers I needed to carry, and it becomes a lot. And though I did it, there are different times I would take my admin assistant with me and she helped me. But being a helper there is so much because you get to see how difficult it is for them. Not only that, you get to watch them. Like when we get to those tables and they open the doors and a flood of people come in, it is like on time. And they don't really have time to even talk to you. You're just going to watch them go. Tell it almost the same thing over and over again. Totally, you can see how they memorize the positions, how they know the organization, how they look at a resume, and average 6-7 seconds. We do it live at career fairs. Help that recruiter out. And that's going to get you like so much gratitude. And that's probably going to get them to say, we should probably bring her on the team because she's great at career fairs. For a recruiter, that's one of the things. Also finding not only career fairs, but also finding like opportunities to recruit. If you can give them some suggestions on opportunities or you find some stuff, they'll love you for that too. All right. Okay, everyday life. You're in Memphis, and I don't mind, Miss Taboo, if you want to tell me your name, that'd be great. In Memphis, Tennessee, I'm not really familiar with Tennessee, but I will tell you this. I would definitely look for your local SHRM meeting. That's SHRM, Society for Human Resources Management. And there should be a local one. And you should go to the national page, look for your local one in Tennessee, and attend their meetings. And that should let you know, like, they automatically, most SHRM meetings always start with, at least the local ones, they normally start with what positions do you guys have open and who's looking for a job. Take your resume, old school, but you're in front of people. So take your resume and be prepared to like tell people how amazing you are, and just don't have stage fright because you're probably going to get up in front of the whole group of folks, which could be 80 to 100 people. But I know that I took someone with me. She used to work in our dispatch. Excuse me. Like when you call 911, she answered the phone and she was telling me that she was working on an HR degree and that she wanted to start in HR. So I invited her to one of our meetings and brought her as my guest. And a meeting for us in South Carolina was like $25. So I was like, okay, listen, I'm going to pay for it for you because I didn't want her to feel like she lost out if things didn't go in her favor. But she's such a sweet person. I was like, $25 ain't nothing for her, you know? There's some people that can't get $2 from me. But anyhow, so took her to the meeting, introduced her to quite a few folks. She left away with the contact. And that like maybe a week or 2 weeks later, she turned her resignation to me and she started working for that company. So it's amazing for different networking opportunities. Also get on HRPOC, Human Resources Practitioners of Color, on Facebook. They post jobs all the time. You can put a post out there and say, hey, I'm looking for a job in the Memphis, Tennessee area. I need y'all to help me out. This is my background. Post your resume. Just like you would a picture on Facebook, post your resume and people will like inbox you like crazy. Let me tell you, I did that myself just in February of this year and had so many interviews. Like I was trying to schedule interviews. Great group to be in. And I'm thinking you're a person of color. And if you're not, I don't know what they do about that. I don't know if that's a minimum requirement. Just know that you're going into a group of people of color, professionals of color. Okay, yes, dream job is HR manager. Any book suggestions? So you want to read, Sarah? I mean, first of all, if you want to be an HR manager, you honestly can just go on there's so many different digital things. So one of the things that triggered me to do this live today was Colors of Her Success. So look her up on Instagram. Her page is The Colors of Her Success. Her name is Mia Williams, and Mia totally talks about how to get yourself in a professional, utmost high space in the professional environment. And it's particularly for females of color, I would think. I mean, that was her passion because she's a woman of color. And so she wanted to help us be more seen, like allow us to be the Kamala Harris's, different people that we see on TV, and she wanted us to represent that. And so she's given so much knowledge. And if you follow me on IG, again, my IG is Hey HR with 3 Y's. I repost her stuff all the time. I reposted it today. And she has amazing stuff. So definitely a way to help you get towards that avenue of HR manager. Do you currently work in HR? I think you say you're working on being a recruiter. If you're working on being a recruiter, let me see. I'm gonna go back up the chat, Sarah. Yeah, so if you're working on being a recruiter, just keep in mind that recruiting is not HR journalist type of work. And being an HR manager is being an HR journalist. So make sure you look into that a little bit more, because I'm gonna tell you flat out, being a recruiter is not gonna get you prepared to be an HR manager. You'll know a little bit about HR. You will know how to do some recruiting. You'll know how to find candidates. You will know how to vet candidates. You will know how to probably bring them on board. But the employee life cycle starts at talent acquisition, which is recruiting, finding the right talent and bring them on board. And the employee life cycle continues through onboarding, to training, to benefits management, to any type of what do you call it? Like quality type of thing. So you want to look at like workers' comp, FMLA, all of that type of stuff, all the way to retirement. There's just so much more to learn past recruitment, which is talent acquisition. So make sure you be ready to like immerse yourself into learning all things HR and not just recruiting. But HR management is awesome. That is awesome. Alrighty, so everyday life. I'm taking notes now. I said I will no longer be afraid to apply for jobs anymore. Girl, no. A lot of companies here prefer for the candidates to be finished with their degree. Don't worry about it. And HR, I think that's an HR thing. I don't think that's just in Memphis. Like, I think that that's an HR thing. Again, like, I don't know if you were on when I first jumped on, but I'm going to tell you straight up. The people who hire HR folks, if it's not the HR manager, which in many cases is not, especially if you want to be like a leader in HR, or if you're working for like a smaller organization that doesn't have a big HR, so many times they don't know HR. Like, I don't know how much more I can say that. I don't think I've worked, but after leaving local government where I worked for HR director, when I went into the private sector, I have either worked for companies that didn't have like an HR leader that hired me. So I was hired by like the finance folks, the CEO, like different VPs or whatever in the company. So they didn't know HR. So the questions were basic, or they Googled them, you could tell. The second thing was when I did work for a director after my first private sector job, like she was one of those people, and it's not a bad thing, but she was one of those people where right place, right time. So you've been working in some admin aspect and HR became a thing. And so they decided to let you grow into the HR director job. And like those people are learning as they go. So they don't know HR most times. And like they're still learning like you. I can't say they all don't know HR, but that's the kind of space I came into HR in, where there was no like degrees and stuff. I mean, everybody was like, oh yeah, so I used to do AP, or I used to do accounts receivable, or oh yeah, I was an admin assistant and they needed an HR person, they put me in it. They ain't had a passion for it. They just saw a solid job and took it. Okay, I'm taking notes now. Okay, I appreciate the words of wisdom. You're welcome, Sarah. I didn't think I gave out a ton of wisdom, but you're so welcome. I just want to share, like, to everyone that I can touch. And this is the whole reason to start my YouTube channel. Starting my YouTube channel, I had so many people who would call me, like girlfriends, past colleagues, past bosses, past managers, current ones, friends that I knew, that would call me about so much HR stuff. And it's great. It's awesome. But it was taking a lot of my time. Like, I've had one girl that I used to work with, and she was like, "You're the best person I know in HR. I truly will. I'm working with you. You flow through it." And her and I have like stayed connected. And she called me a couple times. So she called me one time because she interviewed for a job, got the job, didn't get the job offer, was declined, and then they called her back like 2 months later and said, "Hey, come on." So now that was a thing for her because she started not to take the job. Her mindset was, "Well, if y'all told me no the first time, why y'all tell me yeah?" I had to break that down to her. If y'all want me to break that down, write that in the chat. Second thing was, she then wanted to say, well, how do I negotiate for a good salary? Because they're offering me some money, but not exactly where I think I deserve. And so I helped her with that. Another person called and said, hey, my husband has this benefit and I just started this new job and we have this benefit. Can I send you out some of your benefits so you can explain which one is the best one? Like, I would raise questions all the time. Like, past managers call me and say, I don't really feel comfortable with that HR person. I need you to help me out with this. Tell me how to do this. I need to terminate this person. What do I do? And like, I just decided from those scenarios, like over and over again, I was like, I want to get the word out. But I will tell y'all, the biggest thing that made me start my HR channel was not just because I was flooded with like people asking me HR questions all the time. And I wanted to be able to like say, good, here you go, here's a link. Like, that was my reason. But the second biggest reason I wanted to start my HR YouTube channel is because I got so tired of giving a job offer to a white counterpart, and we would be back and forth with negotiations until they got what they wanted. If that's more PTO, if that's more tuition reimbursement, if that's relocation reimbursement, or if that's a higher salary, whatever it is, we'd be back and forth. I'd be in meetings after meetings with this negotiation because I'd probably reach my pinpoint. So I always have a scale of, okay, this is the minimum I'm accepting. If they rebut this, what I'm gonna give them. If they're a really good candidate, I might go to 3, but I don't normally go past that. But I had a lot of that going on, and there been so many times I offered jobs to African Americans, and like, I might be offering them 50 cents more per hour than what they're making. They'd be like, okay, thank you, I'm so happy. So what do I do next? That they irritated me. Like, I should be excited for you, but I know you could at least rebut to me and say, I need at least $1 more. And I felt like people just didn't know that. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start a YouTube channel so that people can learn how to negotiate their salary, because I'm tired of seeing us get the lower end of the stick. Like, it was just insane over, like, from leaving local government going into the private sector. Like, that's all I saw. Like, our white folks would get more money because they ask. Our black folks would get exactly what they asked for, and then later be like, why didn't you pay me more money? Get that shit at the gate. All right, so, all right, good. Everyday life, you black. Get on HRPOC, girl. Come on, join us up in there. Okay, Sarah, how do you suggest I make the move, a career move, from recruiting into a more HR manager oriented position? Why you want to shoot just straight for HR management? Like, HR management, you're going to need some background info before you get into management. Because the last thing you want to do is get into an HR manager position and the manager's leading you. Like, the managers, you supposed to be there to be their resource. Now they telling you what to do. What you want to do is be confident in your work. If you're just a recruiter, I wouldn't even say just a recruiter, because recruiters make money. Like my cousin, and he'd probably be like, stop putting my business on YouTube. My cousin started at a lower salary than me, and like for the last 2 or 3 years, he's made double of his base salary, which is way more than my salary. So recruiters make money. But if you want to be a recruiter, that's not a bad thing, but you really need like a generalist or business partner role before going into a management role. Because the thing you're going to do is leave out of recruiting. One, don't know how to file. I have worked behind and I work in my last job, I worked with 2 people that took on HR manager jobs after being full-time just recruiters all the time. And the biggest thing I learned is they don't know how to file. Well, you would think, well, Tamika, filing easy. Yeah, everybody, if you filing your bills at the house, that's easy. But when you get those flood of unemployment claims because you just let all these people go with COVID, where do you file that? There's a place to file that. When you get termed I-9s and people leave, where do you file the term ones? How long do you keep them? Whenever someone sits down and change their benefits, let's say you're doing it electronically or by paper, where do you file their election benefits? When you're doing 401k changes, if that's changes they're doing constantly throughout the year, if that's changes they're doing on a quarterly basis or annual basis, whatever, when you get that form, where do you file it? Filing is huge in HR. You got to know where to file shit because you're going to need it again. And if an attorney asks you for that file, now you put the company at stake because the file is weak. And that's what they're going to use to fight against you. So definitely get more HR management, like more HR generalist experience so that when you're the manager, you know how to manage your department. Because you don't want to leave from a recruiter, be a manager, and then get fired as a manager, okay? Or get write up all the time, or people don't respect you, or nobody wants to come talk to you in your office, so they don't know. They feel the first thing people are going to judge is if you know what you're talking about. You want to make sure you know what you're talking about. But I would suggest to make that career move is first go into a generalist or a business partner type of role and learn everything under the sun you can about HR management. And also, I always say network. That's my go-to. Also attend, different meetings that'll give you continuation credits. Even if you're not looking for credits. I attended a ton of these meetings before I even got certified. So attend like different webinars, different attorneys' offices. Attorneys' offices, you'll learn so much because they'll give you sample cases that have been where companies have had litigation. And oh my God, it's insane. But learn, absorb. I said I'm going to fix my resume and start applying for entry level just so I can get my foot through the door. Yeah, but you know what I did? And every time I come on here, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna make a video about that. I ain't even write it down in my brain dump. But I have a paper that I literally just found because I was reorganizing my office, throwing away a whole bunch of stuff, and ran across my career path for my HR career. And it almost took me to tears because I had that I wanted to be an HR assistant and I wanted to be this, that, all the way to director. And so it amazed me how much I didn't know when I made that career path, but how strict I was to it. And so I would definitely go out there and apply like a fool. You never know who's going to take the bait. The different managers are looking for different things. Different hiring managers in HR are looking for different things. They know how to see transferable skills. People are looking for someone that can stand with them through the storm. So definitely apply. So I'm going to fix my resume. Just apply or I would apply for entry level and journalist jobs because you don't know, you might be applying somewhere that has a ton of other journalists and he can teach you, or a strong manager who can teach you. Is there and don't worry about the minimum qualifications. Y'all pay attention to job descriptions because I think you mentioned this to me earlier that they expected all of this high level. If they're expecting that, then they damn sure paying you money to the bank. What they're gonna probably do is put preferably. If you see preferably, then you don't need that to get the job. If you see highly recommended, you don't need that to get the job. If you see required, now you need that. And if you see required where it's like, 10 years of HR experience, or a combination of all, then you make your combination from that whole group. Don't let them job descriptions scare you. Sometimes people make them job descriptions, don't even know what they're looking for. But I apply for everything under the sun. I didn't get to the point now, and I guess I kind of in that place in my career, but I don't even look at job requirements all that much. I look at the software they're using. I look at the duties they're asking for. The duties gonna tell me the requirements. Is there really a difference between talent acquisition specialist and recruiter? No. They're the same thing. And I have a video that's going live on Thursday all about my recruiting event with the local news. And I talk about recruiting heavily. And one of my slides in there says talent acquisition and specialists are the same damn thing. They're the same thing. The only difference is that talent acquisition specialists probably work for a corporate office where they make a base salary and that's it. Recruiters might work for us most times. I ain't even gonna say might. For talent acquisition specialists, most times they work in corporate office. For a recruiter, most times they work for a staffing agency where they get bonuses on the number of people they bring in. So that's basically the difference. Oh yeah, definitely I'm done with taking 25 cents. I may as well stay where I am. White folks be asking for what they feel their worth is. We need to start doing the same. Amen. Amen. And again, look at Mia's page, and it's called The Colors of Her Success. She gives you a template on how to negotiate for your money. I reshared it, and I posted it. And I saved it on my IG because it was just that powerful. And she just said on her live presentation just a minute ago with almost 250 people that's watching this live, or maybe 300, that she had people that responded back to her and said, I used your template and I got my money. So we just need confidence. Like, we're so used to taking these jobs where it's like, oh, I'm so happy I got a good job. Man, forget a good job. Too many good jobs. Give me good money too. Um, that job post that was talking about had the nerve to offer. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Ain't nobody paying me no $12 an hour, honey. I can't do nothing for you. And 7 years experience. Minimum better be 21. Flip them numbers around. Minimum. What industry was it? Pay attention to the industry too. That'll tell y'all workload. If you live working in like manufacturing, they gonna work your ass off. But and I heard Amazon, though I love them as a user, I will never apply to them as an HR professional because I heard that is not a comfy environment. And HR folks in HR POC always talking about that. Honey, we ain't doing no $12 an hour though. Ain't nothing I can do for them. I ain't even apply. All right, y'all. So we've been on here for 30 minutes. Y'all want me to get off now? If y'all want me to, that's what I'm gonna do. If y'all want to keep flowing, I'm gonna flow for another 10 minutes, maybe. But I'm probably going to jump off because I am jumping on Thursday. People know that I come on Thursdays, and that's my plan, to keep coming on Thursdays. I was just all energized after watching that. And if y'all want to know what I just watched, it's posted on Aaron On Demand's YouTube channel. It was a live that started at 6:30 today, and it's posted on her channel. I love Aaron On Demand. I'm an e-boss in the e-brand club, and I do live. Like, if y'all want to start a career in HR, watch the live, watch the night. And if y'all really want to know tips as you continue to grow in your career, especially if you're a chocolate girl like I am, then definitely follow the Colors of Her Success on IG. There's plenty more I can give you. Y'all follow me. I repost some of my stories all the time, like not just Colors of Her Success, but I follow so many different recruiting pages, particularly ones that focus on the African American community, could just kind of, because we're like in the same niche, and because I enjoy it and I want to make sure that I'm on the trend, things like that. So definitely follow my page on Instagram, and I'm telling you, like, I'm constantly in my story. I post other places too, but my story, I kill it. You're so welcome, Sarah. I hope I was helpful to you guys. I thank y'all for jumping on all last minute. Let me put a 1 in the chat if you jumped on because of a notification. Like, if you got a notification, you're subscribed to my channel. Just put a 1 in the chat if that's what made you jump on. If you jumped on just because it came across your live feed, put a 2. And if you jumped on because you were searching for HR information and how to start your career in HR, then put a 3. Y'all mind? Y'all ain't put no numbers. Okay, I don't know where I find y'all from. I want y'all to talk back to me. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to give y'all a second. Y'all driving? Y'all fixing dinner for the kids. What y'all doing? Oh, okay. Just from a search. Awesome. Hey, Review Chic, and hey, JJ family. Awesome. Okay, Sarah, I appreciate it. And that was just, okay. I appreciate it. So you guys aren't even on here from notifications. That's awesome. Like, I hope that you guys take a look at my channel. Since you guys didn't find me from notifications, then you're not following me yet. And I will tell you that on my channel, I am going to break those starting work or to start a career in HR. That's going to be my focus for a while, as well as major search engines like Indeed and LinkedIn. So over this quarter, that's my 3 focuses. Literally how to use every part of Indeed, how to use every part of LinkedIn, starting next month. And I also do a day in the lives on a regular. So I try to do a day in the life of an HR director on a regular basis so that you guys can kind of see how my day goes at work. And of course, and as a reminder, every Thursday I'm on here at 7 o'clock doing just Q&A. So in July, it's going to change, and it's going to be like tonight, where I'm going to pick a topic based on like my feedback I've gotten from DMs or comments or whatever. And then I'll focus on those starting in August. But for the month of July, the rest of July, every Thursday, it'll be just a free-for-all, like a live Q&A. And I'm really thinking about kind of making a theme with it. And that theme's going to be happy hour with Hey HR. And so just kind of playing off the HR whole thing. But I'm going to be drinking some wine. I won't get too excited because then I get too real. And my sister, I get calm. I do, but I also get real. Like I really have no filter. And so definitely look at joining, watching some more of my videos, definitely subscribing. Guys, I promise y'all that if y'all comment, y'all tell me what you want, I'll keep giving you what you like. And I have quite a few videos on HR certifications, how to start your career in HR, HR tips for professionals. I was out on a medical leave with 2 different surgeries, so I talk all about medical leave, and I vlog like my foot journey. So quite a few things are on here. It's all things HR. That's my plan. I kind of give some behind the scenes on my channel as well, so y'all might not be interested in that, but I think it's interesting stuff. A staffing company, and this is Alicia Parker. Alicia, I think you were on here before, right? Aren't you? I feel like you were on my second live. You're mid-50s trying to start your career in HR, I think. Okay, a staffing company contacted me out of the blue. I tweaked my resume real quick. They offered a starting at $19 to $20 per hour plus commission. Is that good? I follow you. I get all your notifications. You're awesome. Yeah, Alicia. Alicia, listen, let me tell you something. I'm not going to ever tell anybody what's a good P and what's not a bad P. It's what you feel you deserve. When you go to pay your bills, are you able to pay everything and have money left over? Are you able to not live paycheck to paycheck? You determine yours on that. That's the first thing. The second factor is what type of work you bring. Are you bringing $19 to $20 per hour work, or are you bringing them $40 an hour for work? Like what kind of work you giving? I give them what the heck they pay me. I give them what they pay me. And I had to learn that. I learned that so late in my career. I used to give my all. And I would process pay increases for people who was given like 25% of themselves. And I started giving people what they pay me. But I also started negotiating at the beginning. And when I walk in the door, you call me to offer me the job. You probably already went through several candidates. You honed it down to these people. You went through those people thoroughly, probably phone screen 100 people to get down to 30 people that you sat to the table with everybody who's involved and said, what do you think about these 30 people? And you got all the way down to maybe 5 people, interviewed 3 of us. I made it from 500 to 3, and you going to give me what you think I deserve? We going to give me what I deserve because I done beat 500 people. That's what we about to do. Obviously, I am the shit because you brought me in here for an interview. You don't have to be confident about it, but that's how you're going to make sure that if you remind yourself of that without telling people, you don't have to show it, you don't have to say it, but that's the process. If you come in for an interview, particularly now, we've gone through a shitload of candidates before we got to you. So you stood the hell out way before you even know you did. Get what you deserve. All right, y'all. Y'all ain't saying nothing else. So I'm getting up off of here. I'm going to go fix me some dinner. Try to do me a little salmon and some veggies, some broccoli and Brussels sprouts. I told him that I needed more plus. That's what I was thinking. Good. What is more? When you roll back, you always have to go back with a more number. So if you're like, okay, because for a long time in my career, I was at like $20 an hour. I'll say up until 5 years into my career. And then I stepped out and went into the private sector and got almost $20,000 extra. I was like, what the hell was I doing? But what does the commission structure look like? How soon do you get paid? Is it net 5, net 10, net 30? Like after you bring someone on board, are you getting that commission on your next paycheck? Are you getting that on a monthly basis? Are you getting that after the person's been with the company for 90 days? Are you getting that after the person's been with the company for 30 days? Factor in all those things for your commission. Because commission sounds amazing until you get that check and you be like, I wait all this time on this. So definitely pay attention to the commission structure. Are you getting more money for a direct hire? Or are you getting more money for a contractor? What industry am I in? Is it easy to find these people? Can I just post a job on Indeed, like an admin position, and get like 100 candidates in an hour? Or is it something like an engineer and I'm going to have to go out there and like truly search for them, beg them in, and only get like 5 candidates and can only hire 1? So pay attention to those things. The next thing is for your base salary. Ask them how often do they increase it? Do they give annual performance increases? Will they reevaluate your experience after 90 days? Pay attention to that. And does your commission structure change over time as your base salary change? I know I throw a lot out there, Alicia, but you asked for it, girl. You asked for it. I hope you're taking notes. If not, this video will be posted. You can watch it again. Thank you, y'all, so much for coming on. I'm going to tap off. Y'all have a good night. See y'all on Thursday at 7 o'clock. And I have another video coming out in the morning not in the morning, but tomorrow, noon Eastern time. So there'll be another video coming out then and another one on Thursday. Right now, my focus is on Tuesday and Thursdays at noon. As y'all know, like Alicia, my followers, I normally will post 2 times a week, and I'm waiting until the month of July ends before I come up with another schedule on my posting, just because I'm back in the office working full time. So I have to kind of figure my life out. But y'all have a good night. See y'all on Thursday.